We actually helped the property retain over $1 million that year. They had over $100,000 deductible at this location. They didn't have to file a claim under their property. They didn't have to come out of pocket. It's not going to go on their loss runs. The GC was able to complete their scope and get the apartment back up and running. I am personally very, 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 very happy when we can get a win for our client because that's what we do. That's what we pride ourselves in. And more importantly, it shows all the work that we do to build up to it, right? There's certain processes that we put in place so that when losses do happen, we can then recover it. So today we're going to talk about, and I talk a lot about this, but renters insurance subrogation. I'm going to talk about a loss that we had. It was an apartment community. It was actually a mid-rise, it was a 6-story, and there was a fire, right? So we had a fire that affected, this one was a small fire, a small kitchen fire. It was able to be contained. They did a really good job. It affected 2 units. But what happened was this was in a very urban infill area with a high dollar amount of rent. So I just have a couple notes here I want to share. There were some challenges that we're going to talk about, but one of the biggest things we were able to do is we were able to get $50,000 of business income included in the claim at a 4% cap rate. That's $1.25 million, right? So that's why I always stress this could have easily been left out. In fact, before we were involved, there was no even discussion of business income. So that client would have taken a $50,000 hit to the income that year, and they were actually repositioning for a sale. So that $50,000, right, it can equate to up to 1.25, even at a 4% cap rate. So we're conscious of that. I always want to be in the driver's seat of the owner, of the end decision maker on the value proposition, right? Because if we don't do our job, you can't increase the value of your assets and protect your assets. So I don't want to get carried away with that. All I want to stress there is, we understand the bottom dollars, and what we do, the small, what appears to be small dollars many times will add up to be big dollars. So let's just talk through this subrogation deal real quick, right? We had a mid-rise. It was 6 stories. And there were actually only 2 units affected. Now, this was in an urban setting, so we had a larger dollar value on rental income. Our challenges here, we work with general contractors, and we like to help out, specifically if there's someone that the owner or management company wants to use. We want to help out, right? So one of the challenges was the GC. And I don't mean that in a negative way. It's just a lot of times the general contractors are not working with insurance companies every single day, right? So we reviewed their contract. We reviewed their scope, and we did 2 things. One, we made sure that it was commensurate with the work and the project, and secondly, we understand insurance. That's what we do, right? We made sure that all the documentation from the GC scope and their contract, the insurance company could understand, right? So we help interpret the language there. So one, we help the GC, and it was a favor to them too, because we help them get their job done. We help them get paid, right? We don't want the contractors have a job to do. We don't want them to be out money. And 2 was the business income. And this is so big. I can't stress this enough because this is always left on the table. If we weren't involved, they were not going to go after and ask for the business income. And again, it's $50,000, but equated to $1.25 million if you back into that on a cap rate. So in summary, some really big parts of this win, of our success here, were 1, business income. That's huge. No one was going to come after that. We got all the business income which the owner was entitled to, right? Secondly, and this is of utmost importance, is this stayed off their property policy, right? They had over $100,000 deductible at this location, right? They would have ended up paying for all of this, right? Or most of it. So they didn't have to file a claim under their property. They didn't have to come out of pocket. It's not going to go on their loss runs. The GC was able to complete their scope and get the apartment back up and running. And then actually we were able to get our fee covered too, based on the way we structured the claim. So sometimes it actually doesn't cost you anything at all for you to get proper recovery, save dollars. And again, you back that $50,000 into a 4% cap rate, we actually helped the property retain over $1 million that year, and they were getting ready for a sale. So these are just some of the important topics to hit. My name is Douglas Francisco with Spartan Risk Management. Feel free to reach out. We always want to talk about renter subrogation programs. That's something we pride ourselves in. We'd be happy to help you out.